Senator Marsha Blackburn, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator, thank you very much for joining us. As John mentioned a moment ago, there was what some saw as a pivotal moment in Ketanji Brown Jackson's testimony. It was last night with your exchange with her on the definition of a woman. Here it is.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear and controversial that you can't give me a definition?
What was your reaction to that, Senator?
I was a little bit stunned, Sandra. Out of frustration, as we're talking about CRT, as we're talking about parents' rights, it made sense to finally try to nail her down on something, the definition of a woman. And she would not give that clear definition. And here's the thing, she has been heralded, and rightly so, because she has earned her position working hard. And I appreciate that. She is the first African-American female to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. And this is something that is being widely celebrated. It is a historic moment. But it shows you how politicized this process has become and how the left-wing dark money groups are feeding into this to the point that everything is so woke, she will not even give me the definition of the word woman.
So, Senator, let me just ask you this question. So if you were on that stand and a senator asked you to define the word woman, what would you say?
I would say, I am a woman. I am a female. Females are women. And I pointed, bear in mind, I had already pointed to Justice Ginsburg's ruling in the VMI case. And that is what that exchange brought us in, because Justice Ginsburg had said that there are characteristics that are enduring, male and female. Yeah. So then we moved from that exchange into asking her if she would define the word woman. So, John, it's important to have that context around this. But there again, it shows you how far they have moved to the left. We can't get an answer on court packing from her. Justice Ginsburg was against court packing, said that 9 was the right number. So this is all part of our doing our due diligence with a Supreme Court justice who will have a lifetime appointment on the court. This is the one time people can find out where she stands on issues.
That's right. And it was a very interesting moment, but I think it left a lot of us who watched that exchange several times to try to understand maybe she had good reason for not answering that question. Maybe there was a better way she could have avoided answering that question. I left it up to Andy McCarthy. I listened to him earlier on Fox News, and he said this. I'll get your reaction.
She would have had a very good reason not to answer that question, Harris, if she had simply come out and said, you know, look, this is a very hot button issue. There could be litigation about it, Title VII litigation, Title IX litigation, and I'm just not going to comment on it. To say that you can't give a definition of what a woman is the sort of thing that you would think they might have discussed how she would answer that question when it came up.
So there was that. You can respond to that, and also maybe perhaps, Senator, preview where you're going with all of this today.
Yes, and what he has said is correct, because, yes, Title VII, Title IX, the issues that we're having with the NCAA right now with biological men competing against biological women, which is the point I followed with in this discussion, Sandra. This is an area where people want to know where a justice is going to stand, where our federal district and appellate judges are going to stand, because your thoughts and values, all of that creates your worldview, you carry that to the bench with you.
You know, Senator Blackburn, a lot has been made of the difference in the tone and tenor of this confirmation hearing compared to Brett Kavanaugh. That was really brought home earlier today when Senator Lindsey Graham had this exchange with the nominee. Let's listen.
How would you feel that if I'd had a letter from somebody accusing you of something, a crime or misconduct, for weeks, and I give it to Senator Durbin just before this hearing's over, and not allow you to comment on the accusation, how would you feel about that?
Senator, I'm not sure. I don't understand the context of the question.
Some people on the other side had an accusation against Judge Kavanaugh that during high school, he sexually assaulted somebody. And the rest is history. It was literally ambushed. He was ambushed. How would you feel if we did that to you? But I'm asking her about how she may feel about what y'all did.
So far, we're 3 days now into this hearing, Senator. No one's asked her about drinking. No one's asked her about parties. Nobody's brought forward her high school day book. And nobody's tried to sandbag her. I mean, there's a huge difference in the tone and tenor of this hearing compared to the one for Kavanaugh and Barrett, I might add.
Indeed, and during the Barrett confirmation, they constantly went after her for being a mother with children, for being on a Christian school board, and because of practicing her Catholic faith. We promised the American people that this would be a respectful hearing. We would ask the hard questions that we have to ask in order for the American people to get to know this nominee and have a feeling for where she is on these issues. What we have learned is that she comes from the left side of the Democratic Party. Her stance on child pornography, child exploitation, crime, Gitmo detainees who she chose to represent. These are all concerns.
All right, we will keep monitoring that hearing as she continues her testimony there. Final thoughts on our top story, obviously, as the war in Ukraine continues and as Vladimir Putin continues this relentless barrage and obvious targeting of civilian sites in that country. This is Ukraine's head of the Center for Civil Liberties, Sandra, on what we need to hear from Joe Biden as he travels abroad ahead of that summit tomorrow. Listen.
We need from Joe Biden to express leadership, not only for American people, but for the whole world. When we say that we're asking for this kind of weapon for a month, now we have totally destroyed Mariupol. And we don't want another Ukrainian cities to transfer to the Mariupol for current moment.
Senator, what do you and other members of Congress want to see and hear from President Biden? He will be landing abroad shortly. Obviously, the big meeting happening tomorrow, and he will lay out perhaps more sanctions, strict sanctions to try to stop Vladimir Putin. What do you want to see happen?
You know, Sandra, whether it is Zelensky, the ambassador from Ukraine, or the lady you just played, what people are wanting to hear is leadership from Joe Biden. They want to know that he is going to stand with our allies and our friends and that our enemies are going to fear us. They have missed that U.S. leadership. They have not had it in this administration. This is Joe Biden's opportunity to change the way the world perceives him. He is perceived as weak and rudderless and not providing the leadership for freedom and freedom's cause. So I hope he ups his game, hope he's ready for this, and he changes course.
Senator, as always, we appreciate you joining us, obviously stepping out of that hearing room, and we will continue to monitor Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearings. Thank you.
Thank you.
John.
Yeah, thanks.